Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's Showcraft stream in a very special presentation. We've been wondering for the longest time, we've been deliberating a question, it's been on our minds, and it's been, who is the best British Starcraft 2 player? Tonight, finally, we get to answer that question in this event that we call the War of the Roses, and we have two fantastic players for your entertainment, Evil Genius's DeMuslim and Dignitas.BlinG, here to battle for £1,000 sterling. That is currently about 1,560 US dollars. I shall be broadcasting this epic best of 9 event with none other than the masterful Mr. D. Apollo. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Mr. TotalBiscuit. How's it going?
It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I hear you've been busy. I hear you've been seeing someone else.
I know. I've got a little dish on the side. I
can relate. I can relate. I'm going to Berlin to get a little bit of German myself in a few days. In fact, that's just how it is. What can we say? TLO is irresistible. Whatever the case, we are back together and we're going to be doing this matchup, and I think it was only appropriate that this commentary team do this particular matchup here.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's DeMuslim versus BlinG. It has been anticipated for so long. It just hasn't ever happened until finally both parties have agreed to do it. And here we are today.
Here indeed we are. It's a crazy, crazy world that we live in that we finally get to this point. For the longest time, DeMuslim was undisputed the best British player. No one could shove him off that perch. And now we get to the point where we've got a player who is certainly newer to the scene, has an interesting background, not a Warcraft 3 background, a Age of Empires and indeed competitive Halo background, who is now competing for the crown of Best British Player. The question is, who exactly do you think is going to be able to pull it off? What are your thoughts on BlinG versus DeMuslim?
It's so difficult because it can really go either way. Like all three kind of end games I can imagine of right now is BlinG just rolling over, DeMuslim rolling over, or a very close series. I just can't see it any other way, and it is so unpredictable, this series. I mean, it's both of their own best matchups, which is the most interesting thing of it. DeMuslim is so good against Protoss, likewise BlinG is so good against Terran, so, I mean, it's just unpredictable, TotalBiscuit, absolutely unpredictable.
Yeah, it really, really is, and you're absolutely right in suggesting that it is their best matchup, and BlinG has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, even taking a map from MVP. So, he's not mucking about when it comes to Protoss versus Terran.
No, not at all. I mean, DeMuslim has been the best RTS player that the UK has ever had. I mean, I guess there was a Starcraft player by the name of Midian, but they've never had the chance to cross game over. DeMuslim was never ever challenged in Warcraft 3, ever. And now in StarCraft 2, there's been nobody to challenge DeMuslim either. Even if he hasn't been living in the UK, he's still regarded as the best RTS player that the UK has. And like you said, BlinG has slowly but surely climbed the ranks, got more popular as the time has gone on, and now it's his, it's his time. Will he be able to live up? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I really, really am. DeMuslim obviously has the benefit of experience. He's got the benefit of a training house. BlinG has only just gone over to stay with Millennium for a little while, so he and Stefano have been chumming it up for a while, to the point where I believe he was forced to wear a wig by Stefano, so I think we know who's the boss in that relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the pictures, man. It looks quite convincing.
It does a little, honestly. It kind of suits him, for the most part. But the veteran experience of DeMuslim, will that be enough considering his recent problems? Everybody knows, by now I would think, that DeMuslim has had a few issues, including having to leave the US for a period of time due to visa problems, which I can certainly relate to, as well as various physical injuries. And I can only imagine that that will affect his play here.
I mean, I don't even know when DeMuslim's actually had a solid period within StarCraft 2. From the get-go, he had problems. I mean, first of all, he broke his arm in Germany back when he was playing for MTW,
yep.
And that happened twice. And then, obviously, he joined Team EG, and then he damaged his elbow, and then he's had injury periods as well. He's been unable to travel to a lot of big tournaments as well, and it just never seems like DeMuslim has had his time in a long enough duration in StarCraft 2. But most recently, he has finally settled down. He's got no visa issues. He's in the EG house. He's playing every day. He's got a very educational Terran stream, and the play on that stream that we've been witnessing recently has been phenomenal. He's actually playing extraordinarily well, and a lot of DeMuslim fans are now back, of course, because he's been, I don't know where he's been, but now they're here, and they're like, all right, DeMuslim is back, the Devil Terran is here to compete. Well, on the other hand, BlinG has also been performing better and better as time goes on. Like you said, the WCG, the games, not even the game against MPP, but the crush of the group stage is literally not dropping a single game, a single map. He crushed WCG group number 1, whatever group he was in, and there were some amazing players in that group as well. And then having to go on to MVP, I mean, we saw BlinG most recently in IPL 4 qualifiers make Thorzane look like a baby girl, because all he did was just play his usual game, and it was a simple 2-0, and everyone was like, oh my god. And then, you know, BlinG's just hit that spotlight right now.
I'm intrigued to see what's going on. I really, really am. I think this is going to be an absolutely fantastic matchup. Both of these guys are about ready to get started. The format is as follows, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking at a best-of-9 series. We are looking at alternate servers. Needless to say, we want to make this as fair as humanly possible. We're going to be starting on EU server with DeMuslim's Mup choice. What on earth is that? I don't even know. I'm working on that. DeMuslim, massive Muppet fan, as you're probably well aware. His map choice, in fact, is GSL Daybreak Official. So that is the latest tournament-ready version of Daybreak, the Team Liquid map of the year. Should be a good one to get started.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great map choice. It's a very large map, and like you said, map of the year. Both players are actually going to be happy with the choice to the map. I don't think BlinG's going to be like, oh no, he chose this map. BlinG's going to be like, alright, cool, Daybreak, let's go. Both of these players are going to get go, and the rest of the map pool is actually really nice too. There's some awesome maps in there, such as Cloud Kingdom that's most recently come into the GSL, and you've got, you know, maps without gold bases as well, the Shattered Temple, Metalopolis, Antigua, and the fan favorite Tal'Darim Altar as well. So it's actually a really nice map pool, and I don't think it swings either way for either of these players, to be honest, and it's really going to come down to who plays the better out of both of these. Yeah,
exactly. This was a map pool that was deliberated between EG and the organizer of this event, i.e. me and you, for quite some time, just to get things sorted out. So we kind of represented BlinG in that respect. You did, of course, as his teammate there. And ooh, there's an internet connection problem. It's... God, I hope that that is just the Skype call. Alright, so Apollo, are you back? Gonna go with a no. Alright, so Apollo's just dropped off the face of the internet, so I guess I can just keep talking then. Yeah, this map pool was decided between myself, Apollo, and Evil Geniuses, and we feel that it's fairly balanced for PvT. It contains the following maps. We've got Daybreak, we've got Shattered Temple, the no-gold version, we have Metalopolis, we've got Cloud Kingdom. Bear in mind, Metalopolis, by the way, is the no-gold version, which is actually a fairly rare version to be employed in tournaments. It's been around for the longest time, but most people haven't used it. I feel because of the historical value, I suppose, more so than anything else, of that particular map. It's had gold base since the inception of the game, so why exactly would we end up changing that, I have to wonder. But yes, we did change it because we've all come to the conclusion that gold base simply is not a reasonable thing to have in a matchup with Terran players in it. You can have it if it's in ZVP, or indeed a mirror match, but you cannot have it in a Terran versus either Zerg or Protoss, because there is an imbalance issue there. So we've taken gold out of Antigua, Metalopolis, and Shattered Temple, and the rest of the maps are Cloud Kingdom, Tal'Darim Altar, Ladder Edition, Shakuras Plateau, Entombed Valley, which is not exactly a common choice, but for PvT we felt was a reasonably balanced map. Needless to say, we did not put in Dual Sight, due to the massive risk in the TVP matchup of the 1-1-1 build, and we also included Belshire Beach, and that rounds up the map pool for today. There are no vetoes, it is best of 9 loser picks format, and welcome back, Apollo.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
No, I don't either.
To lose connection a little bit. It does that, I don't know why, what's wrong with it. But yeah, I'm back, and I'm pretty much ready to kick this off.
I'm looking forward to it. These guys are looking forward to it. The chat is no doubt looking forward to it, so I would suggest that we get right to it. Looks like these guys are ready. I'm going to double, triple, quadruple confirm here, because, of course, this is the highest value show match so far in SC2 history. We don't want to screw it up.
Yes, a lot of money on the line, and both of these players are already TotalBiscuit, so let's
Oh
do
yeah,
it.
yeah, that sounds good to me. The countdown has now begun, and the first map will, of course, be GSL Daybreak official version. And here we go. I'm just going to have to do a quick adjustment on the scoreboard. Sadly, as some of you are probably aware, we had to make some changes to the way that this scoreboard system is actually working. So it does involve a little bit of fiddling about at the start. And there we go. Everything is now as it should be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the War of the Roses show match series for £1,000 sterling. My name is TotalBiscuit, joined by the masterful Mr. D'Apollo, and it's our pleasure to bring you the one and only Dignitas.BlinG. He is in the orange trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the northeast of the GSL Daybreak official. Versus his opponent, the current crowned champion of the UK, it is evil genius's EG.DeMuslim. He is in the blue trunks playing Terran to the southwest.
Indeed he is, and EG.DeMuslim has such a flexible, adjustable style as Terran. He really does like to rely on medivacs, not only to heal his units, which he has said is his favorite unit because of that. He loves the ability to heal, but not, and with the drop, sorry, as well. He is so drop heavy, and BlinG is going to have to be on his toes. We saw him play it against Cass only yesterday in the Scan Invitational, and Cass drew him apart just by simple dropping around the map. So BlinG really has to watch out for those as well. His style usually revolves around double forge, zealot charge, and really focusing on a lot of zealots. So we'll see how this game does unravel from here.
I'm intrigued, certainly. I feel this is a very balanced matchup between these two, but there's really no way to know who's actually going to come out on top, because as you have said before, they have never played in an official environment at any point. No doubt at some point they've run into each other, but no, they have not played against each other. It didn't even happen at the IPL 4 qualifier, where they were both in the same round of 16 group.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's when I thought they would first run into each other, but apparently not. And I love the way that EG.DeMuslim's currently walled in his base, really limiting the scouting options for BlinG here. And he's going to have to guess, you know, is BlinG taking gas? Is he not? I mean, is EG.DeMuslim taking gas? Is he not? And that may force BlinG to play a little bit more safer, especially in a best-of-9 series. And BlinG is already taking his second gas, which is incredibly early here. So he's not looking for that super fast expansion. So what is BlinG up to?
I have to wonder, considering he did just show that to EG.DeMuslim as well. He brazenly did it in full view, which sometimes can indicate a cancel, but the thing is there's no way of getting that SCV out of there, so he is going to complete, and you know what? He just doesn't care that his opponent knows about that double gas.
And it looks like BlinG is only staying in gas with a single probe on that base, though. So he will look to expand very, very shortly here, but he is going to get the Stalker out straight away to get rid of that SCV. And once that SCV is gotten rid of, that's when BlinG will probably look to expand here. And then after that, he'll look to get the extra gateways and then potentially tech up, because he has to scout what, you know, EG.DeMuslim's doing. And looking at the probe in the center of the map, he absolutely knows nothing right now. There's the expansion coming down for EG.DeMuslim and a very early bunker as well in protection of that expansion.
It's all solid right here for EG.DeMuslim, and EG.DeMuslim with the upper hand in terms of information. So the question is, where does BlinG actually go from here? Taking the double gas so early on, even if he's just staying in one with it, is intriguing. He's got the cash right now to go for an expansion, and there goes that money disappearing right now, but the Nexus, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to go for expansion, and unfortunately for BlinG, well, actually, no, sorry, the SCV did not scout it, so it's still a little bit, what are they doing? But, I mean, both of these players are knowing that in a first game of a best-of-9 series, you're not really going to see too much aggression. They're just going to use their standard builds, and then later on, I'm sure we'll see some more gimmicky stuff. And so far, both of these players, not knowing, but kind of knowing anyway, and the double gateway has come down for BlinG, going up to a total of 3. He will want to throw the robotics facility down very, very shortly, though, as he needs that scouting information, and EG.DeMuslim's setting up a bit of a trap for that Stalker, seeing if the Stalker will go up and then potentially kill it, but BlinG already seeing the 2 Marines with vision of that Zelnoga tower, and is not going to go up there.
No, that would be absolutely suicidal, not a particularly good idea. In the meantime, EG.DeMuslim has added on 3 more barracks, taking that total to 4. The question is, what does he decide to do with it? He hasn't got the factory down yet, which I find fairly intriguing. He also hasn't taken a second gas at all, so a reliance on pure Marine Marauder for the time being is going to be required from him. The thing is that BlinG hasn't really got aggressive. He's taken this expansion and gone with a Sentry expand. Very, very classic build. Absolutely fantastic for this map in particular. It's not a particularly wide choke point there, and he's got plenty of sentries to cover any kind of early aggression.
And DeMuslim lands a scan onto the natural now and sees all the sentries. Sees actually all 5 and Chrono Boost been spent into the Nexus. He's actually very comfortable with what's going on right now. He actually has double bunkers, which is a little bit unnecessary, but he can obviously just salvage them later on. And especially because he's only on 1 gas right now, he has such an incredible mineral income, which has allowed him to push up with a significant account of Marines right now, with combat shields as well. The only problem though is his stim is going to be delayed by a considerable amount right now. We may see DeMuslim poke out very shortly though, as combat shields is finishing up, and BlinG is going to have to land some awesome force fields. He does have Guardian Shield and he does have 3 gateways. And we have a Forge and a Twilight Council coming, and it looks like we are going to see BlinG rush straight into +1 armor and potentially Zealot charge here.
Yep, and then there's that window where DeMuslim could potentially end up going, as you pointed out. Combat Shield is now about to finish, but he hasn't pushed out yet, so not looking for a timing with that in particular. Just trying to hold the middle of the map here, looking to be secure, and one has to wonder, is DeMuslim going to be the one that actually draws the first blood here? We've got BlinG now moving forward, taking advantage of this destructible debris to create a narrow choke point. This is a much better place to engage. He can even take out units that come in from the flank through the third of the Protoss player. Now DeMuslim is halfway across the map. I think the question of aggression has now been answered, so let's see where he decides to engage.
I'm not sure if he can engage. There was a lot of Zealots and a decent amount of energy saved up on these sentries, so BlinG is actually in a very comfortable position right now.
Yep.
I mean, he knows what was coming. He saw it coming as well. He saw the counter Marines, which is about 16 as DeMuslim pushes out with a very standard play that we've seen from DeMuslim so many times before in the past. Meanwhile, he's taken the second and third gas and has now decided to tech up. There is the factory. There is the starport ready to build those medivacs he also loves. The engineering as well, engineering bay for that upgrade, and a very fast third command center here. BlinG does have a scout on the third base of DeMuslim. DeMuslim is moving down to see if there is a probe there. Will he see it? Oh, he doesn't spot it actually.
Oh, he's got it
so
now.
That's really good news for BlinG.
It's alright, the second convoy of Marines came in and dealt with it, so no problem there for Ben. He's managed to deal with that, no problem at all. And that, of course, means that no aggressive pylons will be placed down there anytime soon. +2 armor immediately kicking in here for BlinG, a sensible thing to do, considering that his opponent is almost pure Marine at the moment. He's now adding Marauders into the composition, but there is a time where BlinG could go out and do some fairly severe damage to his opponent, and at the moment the question is who expands first. The CC is now done for DeMuslim, so he'll be looking to try and take that third shortly. BlinG does have an aggressive pylon in place. DeMuslim is looking for it, and he's gonna find it. There it is.
Yeah, good scout there by DeMuslim, being ultra careful. And to be honest, when a Terran player moves across to the third base and kills the scouting probe, you kind of know that he's looking to expand. So BlinG's like, alright, well, he's clearing it to expand. I'm also going to do that now. But it looks like that pylon does manage to survive in the north and is going to draw the attention of DeMuslim north. Meanwhile, we do see BlinG going with an observer to scout what's going on. And it looks like DeMuslim may be gearing to push out very, very soon, as +1 is near completion. And he has a relatively decent medivac count already in this game.
DeMuslim actually stimming his forces there unnecessarily and doing a fair amount of damage to his army comp, and it's actually going to get cut in half by the looks of it, but BlinG's going for it, and DeMuslim is not going to hang around to allow that to happen. That Marine is sitting there on that Zelnaga tower, and it gains the information necessary. Here comes the army from BlinG. DeMuslim is scrambling back to his bunkers as quickly as possible, even placing the orbital command at the front to try and absorb Zealot charge.
Yeah, really smart move by DeMuslim. This is a no-go area for BlinG, seeing that command center being placed down. And meanwhile, he's just expanding. DeMuslim played very safe. Not sure if this was a 2-base push or, you know, with a lot of upgraded Zealots and so on. But DeMuslim's going to stim just to pick off a couple of the units here. Very smart move, but unfortunately doesn't quite get that Stalker there. And it looks like, oh, he's still going to go for it. But he does manage to retreat just in time. Meanwhile, we do have BlinG going for the Templar Archives, going for a really early storm. And equally, we do see DeMuslim on top of his timings, does throw down the Ghost Academy on the correct time here to deal with High Templar coming from a 2-base Zealot charge composition.
Yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic idea. Honestly, we've seen Ghosts coming in to deal with heavy Zealots using not only EMP, but actually Snipe more recently. That's something that we saw a lot from Thorzane in his TVP matchups, and it should be fairly effective here. Admittedly, it is also fairly simple just to switch out of that composition into something else if you know that your opponent's gone really, really heavily into Ghosts. Plus 3 armor coming in right now, and a supply depot wall-off being put in place, and BlinG getting a little bit aggressive and ends up losing a Zealot in the process. DeMuslim playing as defensive as he possibly can here, but now that he's got his third base, it's going to be a case of BlinG trying to stretch him this way and that, forcing him to stim, draining medevac energy, trying to snipe off SCVs. The economic situation at the moment is in favor of DeMuslim.
Yeah, that wall is beautiful, by the way, and he's actually left gaps on purpose there to filter Zealots through, so to make sure he's safe from any pushes that come from that angle. And he's going to be ultra safe as well. Look at the barracks placement on that third base, really utilizing the fact that BlinG is going Zealot charge, and as long as he doesn't fight in a big open area, his army is always going to win against BlinG's. So that's very nice, but the problem is for DeMuslim right now, there's no Ghosts out yet. He is waiting for the Mobius Reactor, but 3 High Templar are ready to storm, and BlinG may try to hit something here, and without the Ghosts available, they're only just in production right now. DeMuslim's actually starting Viking production already blindly. That is a little bit of a mistake in itself, and he actually uses 2 scans in the main base to find out about the Colossus, but BlinG is already on the front door.
Slicey, down go the supply depots. That actually causes a supply block right there for DeMuslim, which is a fairly severe problem, and those storms are massive. Huge amounts of damage dropping down on DeMuslim at this point, and it's thankful, I suppose, that he's got quite a few medevacs to heal that up, because that hurt a lot. He stimmed his entire army, and BlinG barely took any damage there.
Yeah, and BlinG knows that. He's got an observer in a key location. BlinG has beautiful map control. He has probes, observers, pylons spread across the entire map. There is no way that really DeMuslim can pull off a successful drop here. So awesome control management, scouting, something that BlinG was not doing when he played against Cass in yesterday's tournament in the Scan Invitational. So this is awesome to see from BlinG, adjusting from a tournament loss just the day after. Meanwhile, the Ghost count is starting to climb up now. It's currently at 3, 2 more about to come out, and BlinG may be actually fighting in a pretty bad position here now. Ghosts are out.
Yeah, this is really awkward. Look at how bunched up all of those units are. Look at the possibility of EMP. A Storm user dragging his opponent into the Storm. Force field now deployed, because I think BlinG realizes that this is a terrible place to be, honestly. He's got 47 Zealots? I don't think I've ever seen that many Zealots actually deployed in a composition like this before.
And he's about to finish with +2 attack in a few seconds. So he's +3 armor, +2 attack, doing a lot of damage right now. But he's just feeling out DeMuslim. BlinG is taking his 4th base. BlinG is stuck on 3 right now. I mean, DeMuslim's stuck on 3, trying to establish a 4th in the middle. This is DeMuslim's time to try to push out. He's got a decent Marauder Marine count, and BlinG does have an upgraded advantage. And this is an okay position for BlinG to fight in for sure.
There goes the Storm, and the... Oh, that was a missed Storm, I've got to say. That did not go down so well at all. I'm concerned about DeMuslim stimming here. Look at his medevac energy. He's barely got any of it. He is stimming his entire army, and BlinG is deliberately just then pulling back. He's got the mobility to actually get away and take bare minimal losses, thanks to these very fast-moving, charging Zealots. He is draining DeMuslim very slowly. It's a attrition-based strategy here. I'm liking it a lot, and it's starting to get a little bit scary.
Yeah, and now we do have the robotics base switch now, so we're having double Colossus coming out. The problem for DeMuslim is he hasn't started any Viking upgrades. Therefore, his Vikings are going to do nothing to the Colossus, and I'm not even sure he's aware about it. I'm looking into Muslim's vision. He has no idea about this switch, so this actually may be game ending right now if he doesn't realize what's going on. The Dark Shrine has also been added on. BlinG has scouted so well that he sees there's no turrets on these expansions, and that's going to be an awesome change there by BlinG. BlinG currently just playing one step ahead of DeMuslim right now.
Yeah, DeMuslim sacrificing a few SCVs deliberately there. He needs to get a bit more supply to get some more Ghosts out. He's adding on 5 more barracks, knowing that at this stage, though, oh, that is a massive cloak right there. And that was actually done in range of BlinG. BlinG saw that cloak there, but the question is, will he be able to do anything about it? Yes, he will. He dices those Ghosts. Oh, that was very costly. A big warp in from that aggressive pylon. Once again, here comes DeMuslim's concave. His fighting position is pretty good here. He is losing a ton of Ghosts, though, trading them for, honestly, fairly replaceable Zealots.
Yeah, I'm surprised that BlinG was stayed in that awful position. DeMuslim just capitalized on it. Really awful fight there from BlinG, but now the Colossus are into the fray, and there's 2 Vikings in the mix now. DeMuslim is starting his Viking production right now, so he's building 2 at a time. He only is on 1 star, well, he's on 2 starports, but he's only building for 1 right now. Though BlinG really only lost really high, a lot of Zealots. They lost a couple of High Templar too, but he's on 4 bases right now. He's mining efficiently, so he's actually not doing too bad right now, but DeMuslim established that base in the middle. DeMuslim's economy is getting out of control just as well as BlinG's right now. And the Colossus switch, though, that's what I'm still worried about. 4 Colossus are out. There are DTs on the map too. There's just one in the top left right now that will prevent DeMuslim taking another base up there.
Yeah, it's a nice position for it. I am definitely a fan of that one, even if it just stops it from coming down, forces another scan. And DeMuslim with a planetary fortress in the center of the map here. Needless to say, if you're going to expand towards your opponent, that's generally pretty smart. Warp Prism out on the way for BlinG as well. I'm liking that potential harassment here. And he's simply rebuilding his composition as rapidly as he can, having lost a lot of supply. If we were to look at resources lost, we would see that BlinG has now lost more. But what you have to consider here is that he's been on 4 bases for a longer time, so the difference between the two is not that large at the moment. At the moment, we see that DeMuslim has maxed out. He's bringing in 3 more Vikings and adding on more production facilities, and a nasty place to engage there for BlinG. Not a particularly smart idea to go in there. Loses a couple of Zealots for his trouble.
Yeah, the DT in the top left is killing a few SCVs up here now. The command center had to be picked up, so really nice harassment there from BlinG, slowing DeMuslim down a little bit. But BlinG just can't fight in a decent area right now. DeMuslim's barracks placements and just everything he's doing right now, he's moving so elegantly around the map that it's very hard to BlinG to find an actual fighting engagement. Though the upgrades are a little bit scary for BlinG, to be honest. 3-2-3, and he's working on +3 shields as well. DeMuslim is at 3-2, but he hasn't got the armor upgrade for some reason, and he is only just now getting that ship weapons, Warp Prism, into the main base right now, and is going to be warping in some Zealots, DTs, a mix of both maybe, and it's actually just set up there right now. He's not warping in anything because he does know that DeMuslim's army is about to come in.
Yeah, he warps in 3 Dark Templar. That's as many as he can spare, and that would almost take him to supply cap. EMP goes off there and misses. The engagement arc is pretty damn good right here for BlinG. EMP's flashing all over the place. Storm's down at the back. Oh my god, massacre on both sides. Another storm on the retreat, taking Vikings and Medivacs out of the air. The Colossus deal a huge amount of damage here. Both sides taking tremendous punishment.
Yeah, but to be honest, that really did look in favor of BlinG, but DeMuslim's army stayed alive and just managed to clean up all the Colossus if he'd kept them alive. But DTs in the main base are doing so much damage. They prevented that +3 armor upgrade. They're doing a lot of damage to the production of DeMuslim as well. They've also prevented that top left base from mining too, so if you bring that into the play, that now equals a lot of it up. But look at the Zealots. There's so many Zealots back straight away. 26 Zealots. BlinG just all of a sudden started building off all of his gateways, and there's so many Zealots out there. DT still roaming around as well. So right now though, DeMuslim has got a better composition, it's better quality, but slowly we're actually seeing BlinG build a lot more stuff. But his money is now running low as he's used his bank up, and this is kind of the only army he can have right now until he starts to mine from a middle map potentially.
And that's going to be very, very dangerous. As soon as he tries to move out, as we saw earlier, he tried to place one down here. It immediately was annihilated and was forced to be cancelled here. BlinG's army looking pretty stompy at the moment. DeMuslim's taking a huge amount of punishment, even ends up losing a few ghosts in the center of the map. His ghost count is currently only at 3, which is once again a little bit unpleasant. DT's now making their way into the 3rd and dealing more economic damage, and that's something we should point out. The amount of workers killed is actually 32 by BlinG up to this point. He's taken the SCV count down to 41. Even with mules, that is not equal by any stretch.
Yeah, in that last fight, I really did like the Warp Prism usage there from BlinG, dropping High Templar behind the army, then storming. Excellent, excellent maneuver there. But now DeMuslim knows that card has been played, so he's actually going to be quite aware about it. And let's have a look at the Viking count. Still only at 3. I mean, this is the time, really, that BlinG should be going back into Colossus, but he's in a pretty good position here to take a fight. And does DeMuslim have enough here? How are the EMPs?
That's a good question. He doesn't have all that many. Oh, the storms! Ouch! That's what I'd be more concerned about. That just ripped a great gaping hole into Muslim's army. The supply count is... the difference right now is crucial. We've got 200 to 155. BlinG's now throwing Immortals into the composition as well, with +3, 3, and 3. Those things are virtually unkillable.
this harassment as well. More Zealots and a DT into the main base, picking off the reactor on the starport, a supply depot as well. So it's really nice harassment from BlinG, and he's back to 200 supply. He's got this middle base up and running now, and he's just starved DeMuslim. He forces DeMuslim to stim so often, but BlinG still has to be careful, even though he's got a decent lead right now. Fighting into all these structures is a big, big risk.
The thing is, with the amount of damage he can do with that +3 attack, he can kill a planetary fortress very rapidly, but the problem is, does DeMuslim actually have what he needs to engage? It doesn't. In fact, the buildings filter DeMuslim's army, causing him to eat huge storms there and slowing his force down. The engagement does not work out for DeMuslim. Look at the amount of damage that's being done to that composition. If BlinG actually goes now, he could probably crush that.
Oh, why didn't he storm? He had one high Templar, didn't quite storm there onto the army, but right now just it's so low health, the medivacs are so low in energy, they're even damaged themselves right now.
Yep.
And in comes another Warp Prism to the main base of DeMuslim. It's going to just deploy more units again. DTs again to the third base, and DeMuslim can't keep up with BlinG right now. BlinG is all over the place.
Yeah, this is getting really, really crazy. We were talking about the idea of BlinG being weak to drop harassment. He's decided to do the same thing himself, and it's proving to be super effective. DeMuslim is taking a pounding from all sides at the moment, and his army is bleeding really badly. DeMuslim going for a big push right now. He needs a good engagement. The EMP misses. Not a good thing at all. That's wasted energy. Now looks to try and engage Inigo Concave in this area. The EMP's looking much, much better this time around. Most of the Zealots there. However, return storms. DeMuslim sits in them. He doesn't have the medevac energy. The supply count plummets for both. That's DeMuslim under 80 supply, falling rapidly. However, he's able to stim forward once again, but here come the reinforcements from the side, and I don't know if DeMuslim could stand up against that much firepower. GG is the answer to that. No, he cannot. And the first game in this best of 9 series goes to BlinG.
What excellent Warp Prism usage there by BlinG. Just that changed everything in that game. The harassment and that Warp Prism usage. And he always had so much money banked up and was enabled him to reinforce with nothing but Zealots over and over, banking 2,000 to 3,000 minerals at a time once he was maxed out. And DeMuslim just couldn't keep up in that game. And BlinG comes out with all guns blaring for this best of 9 series and takes the first map.
Very impressive, as far as I'm concerned. Good play from both players. DeMuslim very defensive, getting several absolutely fantastic engagements, but BlinG played a war of attrition, and he stretched his opponent to breaking point. He was spread too thinly, he was attacking from multiple vectors simultaneously, he was forcing big stompy stims, which caused huge problems for DeMuslim in the long run, because his units simply got worn down. The medevacs couldn't keep up. He didn't have enough medevacs. He was losing medevacs to storms in every engagement, and eventually his army simply couldn't stand any more of it. BlinG was able to bulldoze him in that final fight.
Indeed he is, and it looks like DeMuslim's now just choosing his next map, as he chose the first one also, remember, and now as the loser picks the map next, DeMuslim now goes and chooses Tal'Darim Altar, another large map here, and also, TotalBiscuit, we are switching over servers as well.
Yes, we are, so we will take a quick music break, and when we come back, Game 2 of this epic best of 9 series with BlinG currently leading on the first map. Don't go anywhere.